Today was one of the most interesting days that I'd ever have to know. There were so many events today that this is going to take a maximum of at least 15 minutes to refine, so here's the final product of this video. I was able to eat a good breakfast today, and even though I did wake up late, I ate a bunch of whole grain pasta plus three whole sausages and two pork rings, and I was full for a little bit, although that didn't really last until lunch. But first period, we did a second recap on irregular predicate verbs in Spanish, and that we were required to learn. I went in class and said to the teacher that the weather was pretty hot because as I did go into school, it was pretty hot. And the teacher made us do another foldable sheet to write down important conjugations and nuances for these verbs. Of course, when it came to the verb caber, he said the word cup. And someone else also said I cup, which you guys know what this is, like CUP, ICUP. And I learned the endings for these super irregular verbs, as my teacher calls it, are iste, o, imos, istes, hieron, which is pretty simple in that sense. But I want to try out spoken Spanish, which is a little bit harder. But haber plus past participle, I argue, bypasses all of this. I do not like irregular preterite tenses, so I always prefer that. But as a result of yesterday's paperwork, a new student who just came in randomly, who asked to do some work, was asked to leave by the teacher because of the administrative mess it could theoretically make. And the teacher also had a personal talk with the TA about life, and the main point that I captured that was going on is that we should follow our own path. Someone else's opinion doesn't define who you are. I think this was something about like family drama. I'm not really sure. But for second period bonus dues, my friend broke his leg last Friday, so he's not going to be able to play tennis at all. I went to finish up a Spanish assignment during these last 15 minutes, and then I had a talk with my own friends. The problem is that they think I was not wearing green on my shoe soles, so they pinched me. But I showed them my shoe soles, and it's green. Now, my other friends thought it was apparently blue or mint blue, but my other friend thought it was green. And we all argued that it's a version of light green, and they argued that it was a whole version of light blue or teal. And it was a whole debate on why it's green or why it's teal, and there was no end to it. We are all accused of rage baiting each other, even though there's no correct or clear answer to this, as you think. But during the volleyball game, I got what I call in proximus harassment, meaning as I went to play volleyball with my team, there was two girls that always come up to me. They tend to be annoying sometimes, and they tried to kick me and mess around with me. I told them multiple times to leave the team, and I literally tried to make the game impossible for them to play. But even after like so many warnings, they still tried to attack me, like trying to make little kicks, trying to do things here and there to me. And I'm beginning to think that telling them to stop just gives them more attention, in my opinion. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tell the teacher at this point. I might go to the office and I might make a formal declaration here because like talking about them gives them more attention. Like they're drama girls, of course they'd feed on it. So best thing I do is probably go straight to the teacher if this happens more and more times, which it probably will. One of them left. They went to go tell the teacher, but they didn't really do as much because we weren't really doing anything wrong. So at this point, I should bring my own volleyball. And sorry to my team, I know I was pretty annoying, but after PE though, changing out, my friend said about the blue-green debate that it was green and that my friend has to go to a mental institution if he keeps thinking that it's teal. As a joke, still today, it is kind of a big debate. Instead of arguing though, we should ask my shoes instead for the answer. In third period, in this class, we did an AI cartoon overview, and it went mostly chill. I hesitated to ask the girl for help, but I mean, after the teacher kept talking, I then asked her how her day was and tried to start up a simple conversation. But I tried to ask, but my teacher interrupted and kept talking about the class and what we're gonna do about that AI cartoon stuff. Then after, I did tell her about the two girls at P and what I should do, and she said that she doesn't know. So I mean, I asked everyone at this point, like, how do I deal with these two girls? We now learned about water irrigation with the teacher playing it on the projector for a video about it, and we answered it on the Chromebook using questions. And I low-key shared my answers with the people around me using a very bright Chromebook. But after that, we worked on an assignment regarding water irrigation and a bunch of weather conditions. During that time, I got a ton of law regarding a student who just got suspended. And what I remember is that he said a lot of things, and some things I am not at liberty to say, is what I'm going to leave it as it is. So what I heard is that I'm gonna punish that guy, bruh, quote unquote. And what I heard from him was another verbal argument. He went to the restroom to wash his stuff off, and then he went to leave. But that same guy, we're going to name him Chill, so CH lowercase I L S, apparently attacked him as he was leaving, and a fight ensued. And another fight also ensued inside the classroom. According to what I heard, at least during the detention time, I heard that quote unquote, I don't have any past history with him. He's just trying to start stuff, bruh. Or he's also a representative of a street mob. The teacher also said he transferred from a location near or at Covina. And this was a diffused conversation with a lot of people talking, so this is definitely going to be a lot of mixed talking right here. And one last thing I did hear is that apparently, quote unquote, I'll dig his grave for him, quote unquote, that he said. And street mob, as in not in peaceful protesters, is what I'd say that. Crazy lore, no idea who these people are, but it's probably best that I don't know. I have no idea if any of this is true, but I most certainly do not want to find out. In history class, we learned about Navajo role and their role in winning a part of World War II using code words the enemy simply couldn't understand. We learned about the Executive Order 9066, and during notes, so my teacher put up a video on a screen and we answered questions. But during that time, he was disrupted by a girl in class trying to check schedules and grades on where to go. Also learned about how nukes and how they made the surface of Japan close to 6,000 degrees C temporarily. And then after those notes, I finished up two section paragraphs for the World Wars Museum project regarding the First Battle of Marne. After lunch, I realized I could have shown a green fidget spinner to my friends so they wouldn't debate the color of it during my PE class, but oh well. But now to my friends during lunch. I heard Senior Assassin started today at 5 p.m. and I asked my friends if they had water guns. They said they don't have the expensive ones where you could like pull it into the gun or if it's like battery powered or anything like that. Nothing like a hose water gun either. I also heard that my friend is also doing an awkward presentation today, and what I heard is that quote unquote, how does a blank use the caste system Alpha Beta Charlie to do, quote unquote, which I don't know what that is, but sounds interesting. I guess probably will face that as a senior. But I don't know. Good luck on the good luck on the presentation. I'd say on that if you guys are watching. But like the debate back in PE though, I asked those same two friends if whether my shoe sole was green, and they said it was more of a teal color, but more of a mix. But they definitely said it had green. So for me, I am really still not sure. Cause it's my two friends here, as I say. And then obviously I did say about those two girls at PE, and what I should do with them. They told me I should stand up for myself, and I really should do something because those two girls are passing not the social boundaries, but they're passing physical boundaries. At least the ones in my PE class. So the two girls that are in my lunch period, those are completely different, told me that I should stand up for myself. So I am going to do something about it. So as for English, I bet 25 cents. I said 3 times to my teacher that they're gonna be late, but she said, quote unquote, there's some sort of curse with you that brings unluckiness. Be positive today, please, quote unquote. But I insisted. They were late again, so I was kind of right. And my teacher play slapped me before counting her attendance sheet for the day. I asked my teacher if my shoe sole was green. She said yes. And funny enough, she said, quote, unquote, a lot of my good kids didn't submit the stuff yesterday for homework, so I'll give you guys a chance to do so today. And a kid says, I turned it in though. But the teacher said, quote, unquote, I said the good kids. And everybody had yet another laugh. And our daily would you rather was scary movies or cartoons. Now, we were assigned another English assignment for World War II. A quick research about it. I ended up delaying the assignment so much more, but only worked on it right until the end and finished it barely too. Between the boy and other girls in my row, the boy said in a conversation, how could I not be genuine right now? I'm being genuine now. And the other girl said, quote, unquote, so the other times that you talk, you're not being genuine. So everything that you're saying right now is fake. And they said, wow, so everything that you say is fake. Everything that you've been saying is fake. And I doubled down to the boy that they were talking about, saying like, quote, unquote, hey, you're like Jack from Lord of the Flies, which is kind of funny. To the boy, and he went in thinking mode for like 6 to 7 seconds, and we all, well, had an interesting debate and laugh, and an interesting moment is what I'd say. Then again, the teacher assigned us that same quick research assignment thing and did a brief overview about the assignment, saying about history and how everyone has their own unique view on situations from COVID to politics to the everyday, and how people are different. The teacher said that everybody is experiencing history in the same environment but in their own different way, and it feels kind of meta at the same time because right now, technically, like I am being the historian and recording how these moments are happening. Unironically, as people are learning about primary sources, I'm literally being a primary source for all these social events happening without me as a bridge. Like no one's gonna know all this stuff, and one that defines his life not by reaction but by the philosophy of documentation of a life lived day by day. That means 75% of me is in participation, 25% is the rest of that social metadata that's going to be blogged later on the web as memory. Of course, I'm always more than happy to remove people or Epsteinify people away from my videos. I'm always happy to re-edit stuff and make sure people who don't want to be mentioned are mentioned away. You see, and I know why these videos could definitely be misinterpreted or seen by weird as others. And the reason that I had to leave a certain friend group back then, but I argue is that if anyone's just gonna waste their high school years away, I mean, better create something that lasts. To seal it up before I go on tangents, to end this on a little metaphorical note, I want everyone to think on the day of graduation. You want to be remembered for integrity and medals, or be remembered as someone who remembered themselves? Is the last question that I ask you guys. The best part about it is that it doesn't have to be a whole reflection documentation like this. Just purchase a notebook, a pen, write the date exactly as it is, and find something interesting that you thought about each period and each lunch period. And do it for 100 days straight. And realize that school ain't boring at all. And the teacher later on had another sad saying about how we have 42 days left of school, excluding block schedules, and how we were all bonding. But she told us not to worry. During the note taking, though, the TA offered a free piece of Pop Tart that and they offered it to some students in my row. But now one of the friends told me something quite interesting. When I asked the boy in my row for his number as a joke, because I actually, not that I want to date him, but one of the girls said he had a dream about you yesterday. And the boy flushed, and then the girl said he only ever flushes at us or him. And they said he had a dream about you and him on somewhere before abruptly stopping. And he said to me, you're giving them ideas, bro. Stop doing this. Stop doing that. And they said, maybe we'll hook you guys on Love Island. Too hot to handle. Or maybe go on a blind date. What's your Instagram? Give me your phone number and I'll give you his number. And everybody here laughed and we all had a really funny note. And yes, I am bi chat, just to note that. And up to this point, talking was so much that I delayed my assignment making so much that I barely finished up that World War II research assignment, just barely at the end. And I was able to turn in that research assignment at the end of math period as we were leaving. So as for math, this just was absolutely crazy at this point for next class. I mean, there's a substitute teacher who didn't even speak English as well, and the class absolutely capitalized on this for math. And I know the minute that we started class, his speaking already made some people laugh. Even my local friend Samuel inferred me as linguistically unsure about how he wants to react. I asked my friend if he knows his home language, so maybe that he could speak with him. But my friend just used this as another racist capitalization story to say ni hao to the substitute. The teacher said he knows English, Chinese, and Vietnamese, but my friend told me, not Samuel, told me that he only understands English as a home language. Funnily enough, during class sitting attendance, the teacher said, quote, unquote, sit here in a really deep accent. And the fifth student capitalized on it, saying, like, can we have you as our sub for the main substitute teacher list here, please, when our teacher's gone? Though the teacher said no. Funny enough, again, a kid who asked to use a restroom, the substitute said, pick up the pass, inferring that, like, no asking was needed. And I found that also crazy. Now, a kid said, quote, unquote, fuck is that? And the teacher said, quote, unquote, no cussing in class. And the kid who said F that I found it pretty crazy because like he rarely ever cusses. I was low-key genuinely surprised when I heard it. I mean, even then during a sitting before an assignment that he passed out to us, he said, "Why no one at that table there, sitting with your boyfriend or girlfriend?" Quote unquote. And another laugh by the class again occurred. And I know some people did not want to do this at all. It's an interesting show of social plate tectonics and how, of course, rowdy kids. Because at this point, a lot of people subconsciously show their true colors when authority isn't there, especially my friends. It's like that idea back in Lord of the Flies when there's no stable adult. I was kind of like Ralph. You kind of stepped in out of civilization temporarily to play in with their mess, but just temporarily when he participated. It's like that one scene when he temporarily participated in the indirect killing of Simon in Lord of the Flies. That was Ralph, by the way. And now, the substitute speaking, though he had such a heavy accent that he said other things while students capitalized on this, just to make so much more noise, is that I had delayed so much that I was barely able to finish the assignment today. There was so much laughing, there was so much stuff that was going on. It was not like a chaotic class where it's all out of order. It's like linguistically, this is a war zone. Like having to do problems as he says the answers to, like right at the end of class. It's kind of like a double check. You kind of try to speed up to where he's going. Like he's saying the answers, and I'm hoping I'm getting those answers right. And of course, the 6-7 joke was repeated at least a dozen times, even though my friends did not like it. That includes you, Samuel. And of course, my friends also showed me the true colors, well, not true colors, but they showed me what they always think about by showing their thinking of a Roblox character. It first went from language talking to special pronunciation, as seen from the teacher's inference that he doesn't speak English too well. Now, my friend used that inference, talking about his thinking about languages and how things are pronounced, like O to U sounds like oo, and now E to I sounds like I without the E, like E. But then he said, quote unquote, hard accents like O to U, like boner. And I was like laughing and also disgusted at the same time. The worst quote that I heard today, so much that I even had to log it, that they said was, quote unquote, trust me, when you go to Melanie, you won't regret that, quote unquote. Bro said a statement so bad that I had to log it online just forever. Like, okay, bro, like we know you love a Roblox character. In these logs, in what I've been hearing about you, yes, we know. But you gotta say that stuff in private. Not in front of class or in front of a kid who just doesn't consciously know who's talking about this because you do not have Instagram and that's gonna come to a conclusion. And that's he's gonna make all this focus right now. Everybody's gonna know about your little addiction to Melanie. Okay, I just kidding, but other funny things my friend said was that, quote unquote, Melanie, oh, it feels so good. Now, in a different conversation nearing the end, as the teacher was speaking about the assignment, my friend said to my friend, as someone who's part Icelandic, friend said to him, shut up. As someone who's part Russian and Norwegian, he also said, shut up, bro. Like, you are not Chinese or Norwegian. Like, there's so many events during this class. And also, my friend had to constantly cover himself with a paper because there was a fake kid who was also recording him. Even right at the end, he was recording him and even came up to me talking about my channel. I'm like a capitalist. I capitalized the highlight on my Instagram and my channel for to others. But then after that, it ended so abruptly that I was able to barely finish up the local assignment that he even gave to us. And then I went to the library to turn in the assignments and do the others online. But I realized my teacher didn't post a Dropbox on Canvas, so in the physical way, I face two internal challenges since I'm already done with homework. There's two people in the library that I should talk to. They may not know about the drama that was going on, but probably talk to some friends. But maybe they'd be more than happy with me to talk to them, maybe. But I was also debating on whether to go straight out and meet my mom, or maybe go meet a senior girl at the bench that I've been talking to and haven't spoken to a while. Sure, I can fix things up with them if they were involved in reporting, or maybe just have talks and not like everyday stuff. But this tiredness after the day just made me completely stop about making these other decisions anyway. Like maybe the we that they debated during the negotiation days ago wasn't all of them. Maybe it was only a front that they put up. But it doesn't mean like maybe it was like 5 of them, but that was not like 10 out of 15 of them. Some don't know, but for the day, honestly, I had to close up the books because I know I'll get stuck in having to make decisions anyway. And then I had to go to my mom, who came after traffic, who originally asked me to go home with my brother. Then I got super reels, of which I will save for breakfast tomorrow, so I don't have to waste it. And this is a day that was well lived and will definitely live with a lot of lingering, is what I'd say. And one more thing to Michael Myers Messiah. Remember March 17th, 2028 at 7:07 p.m. Please DM me or send me some mail, or maybe I'll bring some friends over to attend your concert if I get any. Is the last note that I include for today. But this is gonna be hell to edit, so I'm adding that for sure.